Mike Vickers. I'm currently the Undersecretary of Defense for Intelligence. This position was created about 9 years ago. I'm the third one, and I have oversight of all the intelligence agencies in the Department of Defense. The National Security Agency that does cryptological things and signals intelligence, the National Reconnaissance Office that manages our space satellite systems, builds and operates them, our National Geospatial Intelligence Agency that analyzes our imagery products that we collect, and the Defense Intelligence Agency, which does human source operations, analysis, intelligence analysis of problems, and then develops specialized sensors. I also have oversight of all our sensitive activities in the Department of Defense and that we do with other government agencies. Right. It spans the spectrum, and I would add it also spans technological innovation. So one of the challenges facing us now is the threats to information infrastructure and intellectual property by the ability of actors to exploit the internet, or we call cyber operations, where you can actually not only steal things, but have destructive effects. And so that's a growing challenge of how do we defend the United States against people either trying to take our intellectual property or potentially doing harm to our Well, it's critical, in our system that intelligence operate with oversight under our democratic system, but that also sources and methods and secrets be protected. But even more fundamental, that intelligence has the ability to speak truth to power, whether it's liked or not. And I think there's broad consensus in our system that that's absolutely essential. And then, policymakers, or I would add as well, operators, then use it as they can. Now, intelligence doesn't mean, omniscience. I mean, we get things wrong. We try to do the best we can, but you have to be objective. Your job is to inform policymakers and let them then make the choices, not to make policy yourself, not to slant intelligence to any policy outcome. So sometimes that means, it can be very uncomfortable that a strategy isn't working. And people who are very invested in winning a war or doing something or some other foreign policy, don't necessarily like the bad news, but it's important to deliver the news. Well, we face a number of challenges, but the biggest one of all is actually restoring the health of the American economy for the long run and keeping America a vital society. And so while we have a number of challenges that require a robust national security establishment, we want to make sure it's oriented in the right direction and it's not taking away from other things that are necessary to restore our country's strength. Over the long haul, national security will really depend on the innovativeness of American society and the economic strength of American society. Turning to the national security side, then we have challenges about how to transition in Afghanistan, how to complete the defeat of Al-Qaeda, how to prevent the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction in the Persian Gulf and on the Korean Peninsula, how to deal with the rise of China and relations with other great powers like Russia. So we have a number of challenges.